John Connor, leader of the human resistance, has finally returned after all these years. But does this bode well for Terminator Dark Fate as it comes out later this year? Let's talk about that right now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another movie news video. My name is Joker and today we're talking about Edward Furlong's return to the Terminator franchise. So when we got the news that there was going to be a new Terminator reboot to the series, everyone got really excited. And when we discovered that Linda Hamilton is actually returning to play her role as Sarah Connor, we got even more excited. And then when we learned at San Diego Comic-Con this year that Edward Furlong would be returning after nearly 30 years to play John Connor yet again, we all got excited? Naturally, that name may not ring a lot of bells to anyone, but Edward Furlong is actually best known for his role as the 10-year-old John Connor in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. And since his role in Terminator 2, he hasn't really done anything else that is stands out to a lot of people, which is what's so shocking about the fact that he's now returning to the role of John Connor nearly 30 years later. Now, naturally, you would think, hey, the entire cast of the original Terminator 2 is coming back. You're getting Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Edward Furlong, so you're getting back the Terminator, Sarah Connor, and John Connor for this next installment in the Terminator franchise, which is supposed to reboot the entire series. But the concern is coming from not necessarily the acting skills in play, but what Edward has been doing since his time in Terminator 2. And the biggest issue is really his past and what's happened, especially in recent years. Aside from the drug abuse, because almost every child star goes through that in Hollywood, unfortunately, that's just a thing that a lot of them go through. But Edward was actually arrested multiple times, most notably recently between 2012 and 2013, on suspicion of both felony and misdemeanor domestic abuse. So apparently at one point it was abuse between his now ex-wife, and then most recently in 2013 with his girlfriend at the time. So this has been a reoccurring issue, and people are wondering if it's a good idea to bring him back into Hollywood because of what's been going on. It's also important to note that his most recent case was in May of 2013, where he got out of it through a plea deal and was given 5 years of probation, ordered to rehab for drug addiction, so there were still drugs involved, and he had to undergo 52 weeks of domestic violence counseling. And since he's stayed out of the news for 6 years since then, it doesn't necessarily give him a clean slate. Sure, maybe he figured out what he was doing was wrong, and maybe there's something up here that he got switched around. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't condone abuse in any way, shape, or form. That's just preposterous. That's outrageous. Why would anyone think that's okay? But again, I don't know the whole story. I don't know what's been going on. You know, if you're involved with drugs that young as a child, I think he was 15 maybe when he was filming that movie. So you gotta think, you know, there stuff like that gets in your head, and then it just kind of ruins the rest of your life. So there's multiple factors involved. I'm still not condoning it. What he did was still bad. So he's supposedly undergoing surveillance by everyone around him, so that's one thing, and it's mainly just to show that he's improving in whatever his issues are. After getting out of rehab, apparently just everyone within his circle that knows him is closely under surveillance to ensure that it's working and that he's getting through whatever the issues were, so that this kind of thing does not come up again. Because I guarantee, you know, after this many times, you don't want to end up in the news yet again for abuse against your spouse or your significant other or anyone for that matter. But I think one of the most important things that needs to be brought up during this conversation is from the victim's perspective of this. You know, you see this, you live with this man, or you're married to him, and you go through this, you get a divorce, you split up, whatever, and now he's back in Hollywood making money because he's back in movies. From their perspective, how do you think that makes them feel? You know, this is an important thing. You know, is it okay? Is it okay for Hollywood to just kind of give them the go-ahead to go back and start filming in movies and stuff like that after this has been a common occurrence? You know, well, sure, they may get away from it and they have to live with that for the rest of their lives when he goes back into Hollywood and starts making a lot of money off of the Terminator franchise yet again. I mean, sure, it's one thing, you know, to issue an apology and say you're sorry and that you've learned from it, but that really doesn't fix what you did in this kind of situation. And then, you know, when all of these factors are put into play, it wonders, is this gonna affect the film in any way? I guess because knowing his past, you know, no one had actually heard that Edward Furlong was actually involved in this movie until last week at San Diego Comic-Con, when James Cameron at the Terminator booth said that he's coming back to play John Connor after 30 years of not doing anything. So I think it was a smart... It's a weird way of putting it, but it was a smart way to say that because the movie's already been filmed, it's already finished, and it's coming out this November. Had they said it at the beginning of filming, there probably would have been a lot of complications. But now that people know that, the film's already done, is this going to affect the movie at all? As far as box office numbers go, or just the overall release of the film and how many people actually go out and buy the film or go to watch it just plain and simple. Now, I can understand wanting to get the original cast back for a reboot of a series that you started to begin with. You know, that's something that's important to you, that's something you want to get done. But it's still really rocky and icy territory. But with his past being brought to light again for the general audience, you know, it's like, this is just a weird look for the film now. Like, I still want to see the movie, but it's a little awkward knowing it's like, you know, this happened twice, at least that I know of. It may have happened more than once, so I don't know exactly how the studio feels about that, but I guess it was fine if they let him be in the movie anyway. But the fact that they had to wait so long before they announced that he's returning, it's a really wishy-washy situation, and I don't know how to feel about it. Like, obviously, like, I think it's great that you have all the characters back for the movie, but on the other hand, I do not condone abuse in any matter at all. It's really weird. Now, I'm personally not going to boycott the movie. I'm still going to go see the movie because I love the Terminator franchise, and I'm going to see the movie mainly for Linda Hamilton returning alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, not so much John Connor, because I was excited for the movie before I even realized he was in there. We got the trailer way before San Diego Comic-Con and way before that announcement that he's coming back. So whether or not his character is actually going to be very impactful on the story, I don't think it will. But either way, you know, if it's impactful on the story, maybe that's going to change a lot of minds for other people that want to go see this because of what he's done in the past. But who knows? That's really up for you to decide. So this is a little bit of a heavier topic, but I want to know. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of everything that's been going on in Edward Furlong's life? Do you think that's going to affect the film? And is it going to affect whether you see the movie or not? You know, this is a big deal. You know, a lot of people like refuse to see movies because of people that were involved in the movie did, you know, horrible, heinous acts like that. So let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to see Terminator for Dark Fate, or is this actually going to change your mind about seeing it? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to talk about it. But until more is brought to light on this, and if we realize if it's going to be impactful to the movie or not, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos, or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.